Hey Instagram, you're gonna love what I have to share here today. Click on that box down there for IGTV. We're gonna tell you all about what's happening with Weight Watchers, and it's a shocker. This is Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and as always, if you wanna engage live in the content, you gotta go follow me. I'm over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live just like all these wonderful people. And yes, my friend Rachel decided to show up here. She was over on my YouTube feed, but there she is. What's up, Rachel? Thanks for being here today, you guys. We do simulcast over on my Facebook page, so thank you guys for being here today, as well as on YouTube Live, so you can access the show in all of those ways. Thank you so much for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay on IGTV right here on Instagram. It's also at JimmyRants.com. And then finally, you can access it over on YouTube. Just type in the keyword Jimmy Rants over there on YouTube and you will find the show. So guys, I want to talk to you about something today that to me is both funny and sad at the same time. Because for many years, we have been watching the weight loss industry be predicated on so many things to lure people in. You know, you guys have seen all the tactics that they use to attract people to try some new methodology for losing weight. And we see all these big companies get in on the action where they say, well, come in and do our plan that lets you color count all of these foods that you should eat and da-da-da. And then other ones, oh, you can count points. And then another one says, oh, no, we have a version of it that fits your lifestyle and da-da-da. And they always seem to have put the focus on weight loss. And I, for one, have noticed this since I was a little kid. My mama started going to this thing called TOPS, Take Off Pounds Sensibly. I remember back in the 80s, she would go to these group meetings and they would talk about taking off the pounds sensibly. You don't want to lose more than a pound or two, a month, and take it off sensibly. And so she'd go and they'd get the rah-rah support and they'd eat their low-fat everything. And that was just the way things were. And in recent years, a lot of these companies that have always been predicated on weight loss decided to kind of change their business model a bit because they realize people aren't as interested, at least they've heard, in weight loss as they are in eating real whole foods and being more natural and in trying to do things about their health. It's definitely a message that when I first started blogging 15 years ago, I was about weight loss because that was my success. But the longer I've done this, the more I've educated myself, the more I've learned about what low-carb nutrition, ketogenic nutrition has done for me, I realize that it's the health effects that are far more interesting to me than all the weight loss in the world. So the biggest company, the biggest name in the industry of the weight loss world has been Weight Watchers. You guys have seen them out there for years. Weight Watchers pretty much was one of the biggest names out there trying to build this industry based on losing weight and giving support. And probably you've been a part of Weight Watchers at some point in your life. You went to meetings, you did all the things, you counted points. And I remember kind of seeing people that would like brag about, oh, I had a bunch of 0-point foods today. And so we've kind of been culturized into thinking weight loss is the goal. And of course, it's reinforced by all these obesity statistics. It's reinforced by the notion that, well, if you have weight to lose and you want to get healthy, you better lose that weight and then all this health markers will get better. And what they never acknowledged is people can improve their health without losing weight. You can. You can take a type 2 diabetic who has obesity and within weeks, you can improve their diabetes to the point that they're no longer considered clinically diabetic. You can do it that quickly just with nutrition. Now on the outside, they would still have body fat and people, oh my gosh, so unhealthy. But on the inside, metabolically, they would be far healthier than they were. And so a lot of these big companies that have always predicated their business model on weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, and Weight Watchers being the king of them, have caught on to this. And Weight Watchers a couple of years ago decided to rebrand their company. Not many people realize this. It's kind of like when Kentucky Fried Chicken rebranded themselves as KFC. It was just like suddenly one day they didn't call it Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore. They called it KFC because KFC, I guess, sounded cooler. I don't know, but Weight Watchers rebranded itself as WW. Now, it sounded like a partial URL when I first heard of WW. I was like, oh, where's the www.ww.com? Is that, it's like, really? WW? That's what you're going to do, Weight Watchers? Okay. But they decided at that point to shift the business model. And I've got a news story here to talk about that, where they shifted over from weight loss to wellness in general. Now, at face value, I'm not upset by that. I think it's great that you're trying to get people to pay attention to their health and their wellness in general, and that it has a lot more to do with that than it is losing weight. But you're going to see in this article I'm going to read from the New York Times here in a moment, they're blaming the shift over to wellness as the reason why Weight Watchers is struggling now financially, and they're struggling to keep people. And so I'm saying here today, Weight Watchers, no. You can't complain that people are still obsessed about weight loss when you're the one that pushed weight loss as the business model for so long. In fact, it's right there, Weight Watchers. What do you think people are going to be concerned about? What do you think people are going to focus in on? It's all about the weight. And of course, it's reinforced by dietitians. It's reinforced by all of these entities that say it's just about your weight. When you and I both know it's always been about more than just the weight. The weight is one of the manifestations of living unhealthy. The weight is another manifestation of other things going on inside the body that has nothing to do with your food. And just losing the weight in and of itself does not solve the underlying issue that got the weight on your body. So that's kind of the tricky balance here that I think is ironic for them to now be complaining. But let me read this story because this was pretty fascinating, you guys. And if you're just joining us, you are watching Jimmy Rants. And I am talking about a new story about Weight Watchers, or should I say the company formerly known as Weight Watchers. Prince had that little symbol that made it, that was Prince, and it was just this symbol. So Weight Watchers is now WW. And so WW is complaining that people are not interested in their wellness program and that they want weight loss. Gee, I wonder why that is, WW. Let me read the story. So this is from the New York Times. The headline says, mass firing on Zoom is the latest sign of Weight Watchers unrest. Oh yeah, by the way, the Oprah invested in this company, and she's in this story as well. And they thought, man, this is going to rescue us. But as you're going to quickly find out, it did not. The company, WW, which has broadened its focus to wellness, let go of a large number of workers during simultaneous video conferences recently. It was on the afternoon of May the 14th. Joanne Patton sat down at her computer in her home in Houston, Texas. She logged in for a Zoom call with her employer, WW International, the company formerly known as Weight Watchers. She listened as her boss, reading from a script, said that she and other employees on the Zoom call were being fired effective immediately after the 3-minute session had ended. It was one of numerous Zoom calls that occurred simultaneously all across the country that resulted in the firing of an undisclosed number of Weight Watchers employees. Miss Patton said, I was like, what just happened? She was a part-time employee for about 11 years. I put a call into my territory manager and I said, what in the world was that? Are you kidding me? That's how you're going to fire me after all these years of working for you? For employees of WW, the mass terminations were especially painful because in recent years, the company under its chief executive, Mindy Grossman, as well as its high-profile investor, Oprah Winfrey, moved from focusing on weight loss over to a more full-on embracement of the broader wellness movement. In 2018, the company changed its 5-decade-old moniker from Weight Watchers to WW, and they introduced the slogan, "Wellness that Works." So I can understand why Weight Watchers wanted to rebrand. They saw the tea leaves. They could read the room, so to speak. Now, as somebody who's been in this wellness space, the weight loss, health, diet industry for the past 15 years, I have noticed that there is a greater focus on wellness. There's a greater focus on kind of general health. But can I tell you, people still obsess about weight loss. Every time I talk about people focusing in more on getting healthy and trying to make that the main thing, they still want to know how to lose weight. And I don't know what it is, if it's just been so hammered into us that weight loss matters, or what it is. So I think they made a mistake when they said, okay, well, we're going to focus primarily on wellness to the demise of weight loss. Now, you can do both. I mean, if somebody's interested in weight loss, you say it this way. All right, you want to lose weight? That's great. We think that's a great goal for you to have. Go ahead and set yourself a weight loss goal. Here's kind of a prudent strategy, blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, let's take a look at some of those other parameters that are happening in your health, not just what you eat, but how you're living your life that could make a difference in that weight. You want to maximize your weight loss, right? You want to make sure you're doing things that are going to produce the best weight loss success on top of the food things that you're doing. How about we look at all these other parameters? Now, that would have been a prudent strategy, but that's not what they did. Wellness that Works, it became this broad, let's get well, rather than let's get healthy and help you lose weight at the same time. So I think they made a business decision that was seemingly on paper reading the tea leaves, but they didn't read them completely, because the people I run into, you guys, a lot of you guys that watch Jimmy Rants, you are totally into health and you're doing all the strategies to try to maximize your health. But there's a few people out there that still want to lose weight, and I get that. In fact, when I do my Ask Me Anything segment on Fridays here on Jimmy Rants, I'm almost always asked about some weight loss question, because it's on the hearts and minds of people. And I suppose that's always going to be there because of that demand from our culture that we need to pay attention to weight. And of course, then there's the whole idea of how you look on the outside. People judge you, and so you want to lose weight, so the outside look. I get all of those things. But for Weight Watchers, which is now known as WW, they wanted to get rid of 5 decades worth of business success and try this wellness that works mantra. So Miss Patton, who said she would have preferred to be let go in a one-on-one conversation with her boss, said this is supposed to be a caring wellness corporation. The way they did it was just heartless, firing her over Zoom call. That's pretty bad. Nick Hodgkin, the chief financial officer for WW, declined to say how many employees were fired through these calls. The company had over 17,000 employees at the end of last year, and most of them work part-time. Probably counselors that help to lead some of the meetings and things like that. It wasn't practical to have all of these conversations be one-on-one, he said. He added that employees had been encouraged to reach out to their managers for follow-ups after the Zoom call, which is ostensibly what happened. In late April of this year, WW announced plans to cut $100 million in costs because of the coronavirus. So if you can't have meetings, you can't have that income, people paying money to come to the meetings, what are they supposed to do? I can understand why they needed to lay off. It just seems kind of weird. They didn't shift the business model to get these workers to then maybe work virtually leading the meetings, but they didn't do that. The firings and the likely permanent closures of some of the Weight Watchers locations are all a part of those savings. Now, see, right now there's some tough decisions being made by companies of all industries, not just the weight loss industry. And so they're having to scale back in various areas. And I suppose this is just another one of those casualties. Even as we started a phased reopening of some locations, we know our business will continue to be impacted by this crisis. That was the context in which we decided to restructure our studio business and to make substantial changes to the corporate structure and the workforce. Ms. Patton and other employees said the wellness strategy, listen to this, you guys, the wellness strategy adopted by the company over the past few years had not been embraced by some of the longtime members who, like millions of people who have joined Weight Watchers over the years, had signed up to lose weight. So when the pandemic forced in-person member meetings at studios to go to Zoom, attendance dropped, said several former employees. It was cancellation after cancellation after cancellation, said one of the employees, Nicole Nordman, who worked for the company for 18 years over a variety of jobs there. She was also fired over Zoom. Those of us who are working customer service were joking daily. How is there anybody else left to cancel? So when COVID-19 hit, this is the interesting thing they did not talk about in this article. When COVID-19 hit and the stress hit because of the fear and anxiety and depression over what was happening, people weren't worried about diet anymore. People weren't worried about watching their points. People weren't worried about weight loss and health. And quite frankly, quite a few of them still aren't. Quite a few of them are still flailing in the wind. And so Weight Watchers, which had always been predicated on people coming to meetings and finding support and rah, 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 suddenly didn't have that same feel, because it's not the same doing a video conference over Zoom and being in person and physically have someone staring at you. And so the accountability was gone and people started dropping like flies. And they want to blame it on COVID-19, but I wonder if this former employee is right. I wonder if the move to kind of make it more wellness indicated rather than weight loss focused is what was driving people away. Because whether we like it or not, people aren't interested as much in health as they are weight loss. Now that seems so foreign to us because we know they're one and the same. If you get healthy, that will help you lose weight. And if you lose weight, that should help you get healthy. It's kind of this circle of the same thing. But you've got people out there that have been so propagandized about weight loss for so long that they're all about weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, to the damnation of their health markers. And so WW made a mistake, big one. And now they're making it worse by firing the very people that are trying to tell them what's wrong with their company. The company said, the company responded to those things and they said, oh, we've not seen any kind of spike in any kind of cancellations. In the first quarter, which ended in March, subscribers to its higher cost studio and app plan fell by 5%, but subscribers for its much less expensive app-only plan rose nearly 16%. So before the pandemic hit, about a quarter of the company's members were paying $45 a month for access to its workshops in its 800 branded studios or 2,500 locations like community centers, places of worship, hotels, and other spaces. All the other subscribers on the app, the WW app, pay $21 a month. The company had been making its digital plans a priority, and Mr. Hodgkin said it was accelerating that shift. So the changing of the world with COVID-19 hitting has forced them to put a lot of effort and energy behind the app now. Now the app does not require as many employees anymore, so it's a good downsizing effort, and that might explain why they're laying people off and doing all these mass firings like we talked about at the beginning of the story. But they're having to shift their business model because people aren't buying into the wellness message. And of course, I don't think it's the wellness message that they're rejecting. I think they're rejecting this notion that the company that called themselves Weight Watchers for 50 years, suddenly 3-4 years ago decides to call themselves WW, and they don't want people to pay attention to weight anymore. I think they did not do a good job of explaining why they shifted the focus. And that's a big problem. Now I get it. You're trying to get people to focus on wellness, and I think that's wonderful. But when your whole brand was focused on weight being the priority, and counting points and losing weight and rah, rah, rah at meetings because you lost 1.75 pounds this week, why do you think people are going to react in any other way but WTH, right? Weight Watchers became a global sensation after its founder in 1963, founding in 1963 by Jean Nidetch, a housewife from Queens. Millions of people turned to its program to lose some weight. The program system of points: 3 for a boneless, skinless chicken breast, 10 for a chocolate frosted donut. I have never understood this whole point system. I get it's predicated on calories. I get it's trying to get people to reduce the number of calories they take in. So calories in, calories. I get that's based on that. But dang, 3 points for a boneless, skinless chicken breast, or 10 points for a chocolate frosted donut. Oh, we don't want to deprive people. Everything in moderation. Let's just have a balance of chocolate donuts and chicken breasts. I wonder if you ate like cut the chocolate donut in half and stuck the chicken breast in the middle and ate it like a sandwich, you get your 13 points in. Like, how many points did you get in a day? It's just such a joke, this whole concept of the points. Anyway, that gave them a roadmap to follow when eating. The group meetings and the weigh-ins provided additional support and accountability. I think the main thing that people loved about Weight Watchers that kept them back over and over and over again is they finally found somebody in their life that would be a friend to them, that would be a support to them in the midst of it. There's nothing magical about the point system that they had with Weight Watchers. There's nothing about that system that's healthy in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and yet people kept coming back because they developed friendships with these people that led the groups, the other people that would be in the group. They would lose weight, because when you cut calories, you're going to lose weight, but that wasn't the point. And the reason it stuck around, the reason everybody that joined Weight Watchers didn't just join Weight Watchers and then go away because they got cured of their obesity, they kept coming back because it was a failed plan. Like, can they not see that in hindsight going, oh, although I would argue the business model for Weight Watchers was never to make you lose weight for good. The business model for Weight Watchers, and they even have said this, I think I did a Jimmy Rants before where I talked about their open business model is come in, lose a few pounds, get frustrated, fall off the wagon, stay away for about 6 to 12 months, come back, do it all over again. And keep paying and paying and paying for years, decades. That's how they've stuck around, you guys. And what I want to know is, longtime Weight Watchers people, why'd you stick around? The reason you stuck around was the camaraderie, the support, the people, and we're going to get into that here. Jennifer Ramady, a mother of 3 from Illinois, joined in 2000. She lost 70 pounds in 10 months. She said, I believe in the program because it worked for me. She then worked part-time for the company for 19 years as a receptionist. She was also a guide in the Weight Watchers parlance at multiple locations. She made $25 to $35 each meeting for the 2 or 3 meetings that she worked on Saturdays. Members had seen her for years and they became good friends. So there's that connection I was just talking about. Working for Weight Watchers was all about the community. It was a community of support, encouragement, and friendship. You helped people achieve their goals, and ultimately you helped them to become healthier and happier. That's why I stayed. Now, that's the lie she told herself. Oh, I'm helping people. I'm making their lives happier, healthier. Meanwhile, I'm putting some money in my pocket. She was taking home $25 to $35 a meeting and doing 3 meetings on Saturdays. So $100 for one day's worth of, like, what, 3 one-hour meetings? She did okay. And then she developed friendships, and I don't doubt the friendships were real. But let's not pretend like that it became a permanent habit that these people then kept living healthy. No, the business model for Weight Watchers has always been come for a while, lose a little weight, get frustrated because you're hungry, you want 1,000 points, not 100 points or however many points you get. You eat the 1,000 points for a while, you gain back some weight, and you come back to Weight Watchers. This is like those people that keep going back to a failed relationship. Every time they get a little bit lonely, they want to go back to this relationship that's familiar. Even though you know it was bad, it didn't really succeed, you keep coming back because it's familiar. And it's the same way with WW. They keep coming back because it's familiar. It's, oh, well, I lost weight doing that. Yeah, but do you remember the part where you got frustrated because you were hungry all the time? It's so funny how they remember the weight loss and they remember the camaraderie with the people, but they don't remember being hungry, being frustrated, jumping hard off the wagon, so to speak, because it didn't work and it didn't give lasting effects. This is why so many of us in the low-carb keto world, we love it, because we've learned a long time ago it really wasn't about weight loss. It was about eating in such a way that you felt satisfied, that you felt nourished, that you didn't have to deprive yourself, and that you were able to find success in many ways, not just on the scale, but in looking at various health markers. How many of you know your insulin levels are lower today because low-carb keto? How many of you know that your blood sugar has become a whole lot more normalized because you don't eat foods that spike your blood sugar anymore? How many of you see your triglycerides come down obediently because you're not eating the very things that would make your trigs go higher? How many of you have had inflammation levels that have maybe been chronically high before now come down into a normal range so that your body's not as inflamed and susceptible to chronic disease anymore? See, that's the power of good nutrition, not looking at weight, something Weight Watchers never really got a clue about. The company has struggled for years as consumers shifted away from diet programs and instead embracing natural foods and health. Well, that started with the paleo community. So back in 2009, Mark Sisson wrote The Primal Blueprint. 2010, Rob Wolf wrote The Paleo Solution, and after that, it just took off. All the paleo conferences, all the real food focus, and people started, and paleo was never about weight loss. Paleo was always about health, first and foremost. And so people really stopped looking at these weight loss programs, and they started to decline. Competition from free or inexpensive apps, things like MyFitnessPal, I'm sure a lot of you guys have used that, also started pulling customers away. The company's fortunes appeared to take a turn for the better 5 years ago, back in 2015, when Oprah Winfrey, who had talked about her battle with weight on TV, paid $43 million to get a 10% share in the company. She joined its board of directors, and on the day of the announcement, you guys, shares of Weight Watchers doubled. So the power of Oprah Winfrey really helped. And I remember right after she invested, she got on television pretty quick. I remember the very first commercial that came out of the gate from Weight Watchers. They were still called Weight Watchers at the time. The very first commercial. You guys will remember this. Weight Watchers commercial, and Oprah gets on TV, and the very first words out of her mouth is, "I love bread." Yeah, and that might be the problem if you like bread so much, Oprah. It was hilarious. She got mocked mercilessly by low-carb people because of that one. In the spring of 2017, Weight Watchers named Miss Grossman the chief executive of the Home Shopping Network and a personal friend of Oprah Winfrey, its chief executive officer. And it was Grossman who moved quickly to reposition the company as a lifestyle company and wellness brand. In 2018, Weight Watchers rebranded, this was 2 years ago, as WW, saying that while it remained a weight management company, it would strive to be the world's partner in wellness. What I want to know is, how many of you, when you hear of Weight Watchers or WW, the first thing you think of is wellness? Yeah, me neither. I still think of them as a weight loss company. Why? Because for decades, It was points, weight loss, meetings, weight loss. It was everything but wellness. So why, pray tell, are you complaining that people are obsessed about weight loss? Oh no, they don't like our wellness message. No kidding, because you indoctrinated them, you propagandized them to think that the only thing that mattered was the number on the scale. So cry me a friggin' river, WW, that people are worried about weight loss. Oh, that we can't get them to pay attention to our message. Well, no kidding. Welcome to my world, trying to explain to people it's not really about weight loss. It's about the health gains that you have. It's about getting all those markers I talked about earlier in order. Why are you complaining now when this is something you should have been taking the leadership role on many years ago? Now, I get it. Aesthetically, women especially want to look good, want to look thin, want to have all of the things that they're told that when you have this thinness in your life, nothing feels as good as thin feels, nothing tastes as good as thin feels, all this like nonsense. By the way, we talked about a lot of these messages that the diet industry throws out there on my Real Talk episode on Thursday. Go to llvlc.com. Dr. Will Cole and we took a whole bunch of these like little things, nothing tastes as good as thin feels, and we kind of analyzed what they mean, why people say it. So go listen to that if you missed it, wherever podcasts are heard. Real Talk is the name of the show. But we went over all of those things, and Weight Watchers is one of the ones that's kind of pushed all of those messages. So cry me a river. Seriously. I don't know why people obsess about weight loss. We're trying to get them on wellness. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault, Weight Watchers. WW. It's so stupid to call them WW, by the way. It's like, I keep wanting to add another w.imstupid.com, but anyway, I'm in full-on rant mode on this Sunday. Sorry about that. In June of 2018, the stock of Weight Watchers, WW, peaked at more than $101 a share. Soon thereafter, group meetings that had been free and focused on topics like strategies from eating at a Mexican restaurant. By the way, you only take 14 tortilla chips when you go to a Mexican restaurant from the basket. You break them up into lots of little small pieces. You put them on a napkin in front of you, and you don't ever touch the basket again. All right, well, what about the metabolic ramifications of those 14 tortilla chips? Like, are we going to explain that raises blood sugar and raises insulin and raises like a hunger hormone called ghrelin? Are we going to explain any of that? No, we're not. We're going to talk about calories and keep, okay. I'm just making sure, because that if you don't explain that stuff and people eat 14 tortilla chips and they're screaming at you because they're hungry an hour later and you can't explain why. Yeah. That's what they say. Were replaced by broader themes like stress or exercise. Employees who had once asked members about their vacations or family had to strictly follow scripts. So all of these employees that had always talked about breaking up 14 chips and how'd you do on vacation? I hope you didn't overeat. I hope you still counted points. Now suddenly they had a script to follow. They talked about stress and talked about exercise and all these other things besides food and weight loss. Can you imagine if you've been a long-time Weight Watchers member and you've been heard weight loss, 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 and suddenly they go, yeah, how's your sleep? Are we sleeping well? Let me read from the script. So if you are not going into the bed at... And suddenly you get this message that is so radically different from anything they've ever said before. And you've been told to focus on weight loss for many years, but now members no longer had to weigh in. Like, I think there was somewhat of validation of your efforts by seeing a number on the scale go down. And so how did the people feel the validation unless they saw confirmation that what they were doing was actually causing some changes? Now, obviously, changes internally can happen from all these wellness lifestyle things, but how do you quantify that unless you're testing people's blood sugar or testing their triglyceride or testing things like that. They weren't doing any of that. We went from topics about what to do or how to handle the real world to touchy-feely, warm and fuzzy topics that at times made me uncomfortable because I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. That's according to Lynn Allred, a teacher who worked part-time at Weight Watchers meetings in California for 15 years. She was one of the ones that got fired. She said attendance at meetings she worked at had dropped off. I mean, can you imagine? I'm sure they did drop off. I'm sure people were like, well, wait a minute. I joined Weight Watchers to lose weight. Now you're talking about all this touchy-feely stuff? And it's people that aren't trained in understanding some of the psychological stuff that they're talking about, and yet they're talking about it anyway. They're reading from scripts. I think what happened too, and they didn't say this in the story, I think it went from sincerity, that the people that believed in the weight loss aspect of Weight Watchers, it was sincere. Oh yeah, I counted my points, and when I counted points, here's my weight loss success story, and here's how many pounds I lost and how long it took, and da-da-da. It was personalized, and people related. Now they're reading from a script, and people can notice change in tone. People can notice inauthenticity. They lost the realness because they were reading from scripts. And they wonder why people were dropping like flies. See, if they just asked me, I could have helped them analyze their business and why it was going to fail with this shift in the business model. By the spring of last year, WW stock had dropped below $20 a share. So remember, 2018, it was like $100 a share. So it was below $20 a share. It lost 80% of its value. Grossman said marketing efforts that January, which was WW's biggest subscriber month, had not connected with the customers. I think it needed to be a lot more weight loss focused, Miss Grossman at the time said in a call with Wall Street analysts in February 2019. So I think they realized at that point, okay, we had good intentions of shifting to wellness, but we know now people wanted weight loss. But again, cry me a friggin' river! You're the one that made people obsess about weight loss, so why are you complaining that people are doing the very thing that you asked them to do for 5 decades? It would be like McDonald's switching over to turnip fries. Oh, here's our fries. They're made of turnips. Aren't they good? Aren't they healthy? Oh, don't they taste good? Oh, yeah, you're going to enjoy the turnip fries. You want a little ketchup with that? What would people do? They would stop buying fries. Why? Because McDonald's has trained you to like potato French fries. Decades upon decades of selling potato French fries that people like. And so you suddenly start to feed them turnip fries. Oh, we know that's better. We know that's the focus people need to have the focus on. What's going to happen? You're going to lose customers. That's the same thing Weight Watchers did. They gave people turnip fries when they turned to the wellness. And people didn't buy it. They want the weight loss. Because by golly, they love their McDonald's French fries. Which, what's that, 10 points if you get a small McDonald's French fry? I don't know. I've literally never done Weight Watchers. I think my mama did it at one point, but yeah, I never fell for that. Since then, company executives say they've been more successful in balancing WW's wellness push with its weight loss mission in its marketing, noting that the company hit an all-time high of 5 million subscribers by the end of 2019. So when COVID-19 hit, ironically, we had a strong start to the year. The CEO said we had introduced a new program and had done a multi-city tour with Oprah, which had a great impact on the business. So what do you think about this? Weight Watchers, WW is struggling because they say people are interested in weight loss and they're not interested in wellness. I don't believe that. I think people need to be told why wellness matters. I think wellness is always the goal. It's always been the goal. And as part of a wellness teaching program, weight loss comes, and weight loss is a part of that. But when you put the major focus on weight loss being the ultimate goal, let's do weigh-ins. I mean, that's the thing that kind of pissed me off about The Biggest Loser for so many years, was they would always celebrate the people that lost 10.75 pounds. Oh my God! Meanwhile, somebody else only loses 3 pounds, and yet their blood sugar might have come into control. Maybe they got off of a medication. They never talked about those things. They never talked about the good things that happen when you don't lose weight. And it's a failure of companies like Weight Watchers to pretend like all that matters in your health is what the number on the scale says. And so now they're lamenting, oh my gosh, people aren't buying into our wellness program. No, they're not buying into a company being a hypocrite. Weight Watchers, you are the biggest hypocrite in the world if for 5 decades you are pushing hard people pay attention to weight and that weight's the only thing that matters. And then suddenly you make a shift over, oh, we should be wellness. We should care about the totality of everything in wellness. And then people don't buy into it. Teach them why they want to be healthy. And through getting healthy, they will lose weight. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. We're going to come over here to Instagram first. Then we'll pop over to my YouTube channel up here, as well as my Facebook channel. So thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website if you want to engage. West Virginia Keto for Life said, I should own a wing at Weight Watchers. I spent so much money on them. Yeah, I have heard many people that are in the keto community now that have said, oh man, like Weight Watchers took so much of my money. Think about it, $45 a month to be a part of their meetings. And even if you pay the app one, the $21 a month, I mean, that's still substantial at $250 a year to get what? Like, way to go restricting your calories? Like, what do they do? Oh, Keto NJ has a good point. Maybe the success of keto out in the mainstream has killed them. I think so. I have heard plenty of people that used to be a major part of the Weight Watchers world doing keto now. And they ditched Weight Watchers. Now, there's some people, this is interesting, by the way, and I've had a few of the Weight Watchers people write to me. I started doing keto, and I went back to the meetings and started telling all of them about keto. So there's kind of this underground, they're not talking about this in stories like this. There's kind of this undergroundness of, oh, we're getting our Weight Watchers people to do keto, and then we're there for the community aspect, but they're saying balls to the point system and all this kind of stuff. They're doing their own thing, but they're finding success doing that. Now, if the Weight Watchers company finds out they're doing that, I guess they shouldn't care. This is the thing I've never understood. Why put out some kind of nutritional dictate? Why don't you give people the option of various diets? Have a keto version of Weight Watchers, keto WW, paleo WW, vegan WW, and then have all these different ones. And then people find plan. And if the plan's not working, they can switch the plan up and da-da-da. But then have the meetings and then have break-off sessions, all the plant-based WW people, all the keto WW people, and have different segments that would have support for your chosen diet. How many people could they sell that program to? Trust me, I think they could make a bunch of money. But again, they did not ask my business advice. That's what I would do if I was them. Beth says, my company did Zoom call notifications that our salons were closing. Well, that sucks. It's a really crappy way. That's like sending a text message to your girlfriend to tell her you're breaking up with her. Like that's like a lowball move. Rachel says my sister joined the WW app last year before she became pregnant in the fall. She would tell me all her 0-point foods that she could eat. I dang near bit my tongue trying to support her. Yeah, and what's funny is a lot of those 0 foods have so many carbs in them. And I go, are they really 0? Like, as in no impact on you whatsoever? Maybe no impact on your weight, but Blood sugar, insulin, yeah, not so much. I guarantee if you go to a Weight Watchers meeting and you brought a blood glucose monitor, you would see some shocking numbers from some of those people. Beth says, those who forget how hungry they were tell themselves they just had no willpower. Yes, Beth, that was one of the things on the Real Talk episode I talked about on Thursday with Dr. Cole. That was one of the ones we brought up. Oh, I just didn't have enough willpower. Oh, don't get me started on willpower. But yeah, you're right. That's what people will say. Brittany says, you're fired up today. Girl, and I'm always fired up. So, but thank you. Yes. Caitlin says, I hope you're not working all day. No, no, no. Caitlin, on the weekends, I chill like a Ville because that's how I roll. But yeah, sometimes when the spirit moves, and I saw this New York Times article this morning, I said, okay, I'm going on Jimmy Rants this afternoon. I'm about to watch the Phil Mickelson Tiger Woods match with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. So as soon as I'm done here, that starts. So I wanted to do something before that started. So thank you for caring about me, though. I have been outside in the sun and fun, but thank you for that. Susie says, I know people who religiously went to WW and they went to fast food places right after their meetings. Oh, but Susie, it fits within their points. So why are we complaining? Everything in moderation. You don't want to deprive yourself of any food groups. Yeah, I could be here all day. Carol says, don't give WW any business ideas. Girl, if they're going to do their business, and they are, why not try to make it better, I suppose? But you're right. Don't succeed. They're not paying attention to Jimmy Moore. They don't give a crap about what I say about anything because I'm taking business away from them. I do Jimmy Rants for free. I know. I could start charging $45 a month and you can listen to Jimmy Rants. So some of you guys would actually pay for that, but no, I would never do that. So thank you, Instagram. Let me pop over here to my Facebook page. What's up, you guys? Thanks for being here today on Jimmy Rants. See what you have to say about this crazy topic. Mandy says, nutrient density and hormone balance should be the priority, not weight loss, always. And you're right. They don't talk about the quality of food and the real food. They don't talk about insulin and other hormones being out of balance. It's just about what does that number say. And again, that's what ticked me off about The Biggest Loser too. She also said, why is weight gain always perceived as the culprit rather than a side effect? That's the funny thing to me too. And a lot of researchers say, well, if we just lose weight, diabetes researchers, if you just lose weight, your blood sugar and your insulin all come under control and you can control your diabetes. In translation, if you lose weight, that's going to make your diabetes better with the medications we give you. But the thing they never talk about is, how about we create a diet and lifestyle plan that not only helps you lose weight, but even if it doesn't help you lose weight, gets you off of medications. And oh yeah, by the way, in the underlying factor, heals your type 2 diabetes. Even if you don't lose all your weight, your diabetes comes under control. Why is that not the message? I've never understood that one. Most people join WW because they want the support of a health coach, but less expensive, the accountability and the community. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. Yeah, again, Mandy, I think if within the context of that template, which I think is a good template because people do find support, they would offer nutritional options that are apart from the low-fat, the point system that they came up with. It probably would work and would make them very successful. Again, they're not going to listen to Jimmy Moore, but that would be the business plan. If I was their CEO moving forward, I would have all these options and then tell the group leaders, and maybe even increase the employment of more group leaders. Okay, we need somebody that's a keto success. All right, you're going to lead the keto WW group. All right, we need somebody that's done a plant-based diet and been successful. All right, you're going to lead the plant-based WW. And see, I think they could make it a viable option and they would get a whole lot more members, but they didn't ask me. They didn't care. Nancy says, when you get to your goal weight and sustain it for 6 weeks, you become a lifetime member. You can then go to their meetings for free. Well, that's interesting. Even if you gain back all your weight, like you're always going to be a member from then on. But again, what do you get? You get the support, but are you getting any good advice on diet? I would argue no. Nancy says, I started keto to lose weight. And most of us did, Nancy, and I'm not trying to poo-poo that. What I'm saying is, that is when you learn and when you get involved in keto a little more, you realize it's so much more than weight loss. So I'm not denying that a lot of people start keto for weight loss. What I'm saying is it's the wrong focus. What I'm saying is once you realize how powerful a health modality keto is in lowering triglycerides, lowering blood pressure, lowering blood sugar, lowering insulin, lowering inflammation, all of these things that matter in your health, then you don't really worry about weight as much as you did. Now, some people will always worry about weight. They love the aesthetics of it, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, and I'm making the argument, that once you find a diet that does good things in your health, and Weight Watchers ain't it, then you care about all that health stuff more. And that's the problem with Weight Watchers. You feel deprived because you think that's virtuous to feel hungry. But you're losing weight, so that's all that matters. But you're right, a lot of people do start keto to lose weight. Sharon says, I went 4 years straight to WW Faithful. I gained pre-diabetes back in 2012 when they changed to all fruits and vegetables, being 0 points. Then I found Wheat Belly, and then Maria Emmerich, life changing. Yeah, the whole fruits and vegetables being freebies. Fruits are not without consequence. Like we put in my book, Keto Clarity, fruit is nature's candy. And when you look at fruit, not at, well, it's natural sugar in it. Okay, it's natural, but it will naturally raise your blood sugar. It will naturally raise your insulin. So let's not pretend like fruits and vegetables are a total freebie. But that's what they try to say when they call them 0 points. Mandy says, WW, the letters are so hardwired in our brains to mean Weight Watchers. Yeah, you're right. I think it's great that they're shifting their focus to wellness because we need people to focus on that. But still, people anticipate having weight loss. I'm curious to know what wellness is nutritionally, though. It's nothing different. They haven't changed anything about the nutrition part of their wellness. They think by lowering calories and counting points that you're creating wellness simply by the lower calorie intake. That's what they believe. Sunny, hey Sunny, says WW had to rebrand themselves when they realized Oprah would never be able to get to goal, just like the millions of others on their plan. How are they going to say it works when Oprah obviously can't make it work? Oh my gosh, you just opened up a can of worms, Sonny. But that's so true that when you have a failed nutritional plan and pretend like it is the answer to weight loss, and you have someone who has historically struggled with weight loss, the answer to that is, okay, we've got the nutritional plan for wellness. And of course, wellness can be described as anything. Okay, well, we're eating this way. We're well because we're eating low calorie. Well, what's that mean? How does wellness manifest? Is wellness just this esoteric subjectiveness? How do you determine someone is well? How do you know if what you're doing is creating that wellness? This is why they're struggling, because people weren't buying into the wellness, because at least with Weight Watchers, they were able to track weight and you could see weight go down. What do you see change when you're promoting wellness? You're not getting this reinforcement of the message that things are happening good or bad or whatever. You're just, oh, we're eating this way. And of course, meanwhile, people still see the belly, or they still see the weight, and they're still weighing themselves at home. Let's not pretend like these people aren't weighing themselves at home daily, sometimes probably multiple times a day. And this wellness isn't producing weight loss, so they think they failed. Meanwhile, on the inside, maybe they've seen some good changes, but they wouldn't know because they're never testing all of these things. We have so much technology at our fingertips now. How easy would it be to have a glucose monitor? How easy would it be to test blood pressure? How easy would it be to wear some kind of a wearable like I do, the Oura Ring, that would track various markers of sleep, for example? But they don't talk about any of that. Wellness is just nothingness unless you define what wellness means. Nancy says, do you still have to weigh in every week? That's the other thing. They stopped weighing in. So there was no validation. That's what they said at the end there. They stopped weighing people. Members no longer had to weigh in. And they went from topics about what to do about handle the real world to touchy-feely topics. So no, they don't weigh anymore. And that's part of the issue too. All right, thank you, Facebook. Let me pop over to my YouTube channel. What's up, guys? See what you have to say about this. Nurse Feelgood, I'm restarting keto. I do not obsess about weight loss to the extent that I wonder if I need to obsess more. I'm very good about shrugging off mistakes. Well, I mean, if you want to focus on weight loss, that's fine. I would say get your health in order, and through that health change, you should see weight loss success. Cody says on low carb keto, carnivore minus 34 kilo. That's awesome. What's that, about 80 to 85 pounds? It's pretty good. Health issues all gone and weight stable. That is cool. Way to go. Howdy, Diane. Thanks for being here. Sharon says, when I went wheat-free, low-carb for the first time since 21 years old, I'm now in my 60s. I have no tumor markers present in my lab work. I had 2 types of thyroid cancer removed in 1977. Sharon, that is amazing. Congratulations. I think that is outstanding. It shows that you're committed and that you can do this at any age. I think people always use their age as a reason why they don't start things. Cody says, people don't want to talk about mind and psychological issues in public. Oh, don't get me started on that one. That's true. That's another wrinkle in their whole wellness and kind of getting into other things besides food. People just say, tell me what to eat. Tell me how many calories to eat. Don't talk about my childhood trauma. Don't talk about my relationship problems. Don't talk about how my kids are driving me crazy. Don't talk about the struggles in my job and the stresses that come from that. Don't talk about any of that stuff. That doesn't matter. I just want to lose weight. And so that is another part of this conversation that people don't want to own up to. It is more than just the food. If it was just about the food, then most of us would probably figure it out. But it's the confounding variables of all these other things that makes this a little more difficult. All right, let me come back over here to my Instagram page, see if you guys have any more comments to make. Caitlin says, I was the master of manipulating points. Yeah, I think a lot of people got pretty good at it, and they knew what the 0 point ones were. And so when you count points and you can add a 0 to the points, it means you get to eat again. And even if it meant you ate kind of like celery sticks, I assume those were 0 points, it means you ate things that weren't that great. And yet, hey, it was something. Let me put a little bit of pimento cheese on those celery sticks. A pimento cheese, okay, that's 3 points. And so you start budgeting, and yeah, you manipulate it around. When your diet becomes a math equation, I think it's time to change your diet. When you have to start adding and subtracting and calculating, and yeah, nobody likes that. That's no fun. But that's the business model that has made Weight Watchers a household name for 5 decades. And now they're realizing just how messed up that business model was. I don't think anybody has gone to Weight Watchers for their diet advice. I think the thing, and we pinpointed this here today, the thing that people love the best about Weight Watchers is the camaraderie, the support. Here's the other thing that's hurt Weight Watchers. Social media is a thing now. There are people online that offer free support all the time. You're on one of them. Jimmy Rants doesn't cost you a dime. I come on here for free. I happily come on here, offer all kinds of information, offer all kinds of support. I'm going to be leading a 7-day group fast 1 week from tomorrow, starting 1 week from tomorrow. There's lots of people online giving you free support. So why would you pay $45 a month to go to a meeting? That's an archaic, maybe in the 1980s and 90s, that was a big thing. But now we're in the 21st century. People can access you and access free ways to get support. So that's what they do. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content. Go follow me right here on Instagram at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. We also simulcast live over here on my Facebook page and YouTube page, so thank you all for being here. Watch the replay on IGTV. You can also watch it over at JimmyRants.com as well as over on YouTube. Type in a keyword Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. So guys, that's it for now. We'll be back again real soon with another episode of Jimmy Rants. So until next time, we'll see you then. And that's a wrap.